Welcome to this Marshall e-learning module where we're going to review the month-end return activity audit in relation to the FCA dashboard system. During this module, we're going to start by looking at the aims and objectives. We're going to look at how you navigate the system and show you the various stages of the month-end audit. We're also going to look at the available reports and resources that you might find useful, before we end with a brief summary. So to start, the aims of our session are to help you understand how to make your monthly submission, to show you how you can make amendments to the various information that's held on the system as required, and to understand just how you complete a full monthly audit. It's important to remember that to maintain our FCA status, we must complete our monthly audit by no later than the 14th of the following month. Although the deadline is the 14th, we do suggest you start working much sooner, as there may be some investigation that's required before your audit can be completed. The month-end submissions and all the work that's required can all be completed from within the FCA dashboard system itself. So to complete your audit and month-end return, as a manager you would head to the FCA dashboard main menu screen, and here you would select the option labelled Audit. Then you simply enter the month and year that the audit is for, and with these details selected, just click on OK. You'll notice on this initial screen that the system pre-populates your name from your login information and pulls through the date as well as a timestamp as to exactly when the audit's being completed. You'll then ask which member of the dealer staff is the audit being carried out with. However, typically here you will just enter your own name from the drop-down menu. Having filled in all this detail, you're now required to select the Save icon, and once this is complete, you'll notice that a number of options become available at the bottom of the screen. The first option we're going to select is Compliance, shown here on the left of our options. With this icon selected, it will take us through to the full compliance screen. You'll notice the compliance report initially appears blank, and our first requirement is that we select the Load Data icon and then enter the number of deals that we completed within the month selected for audit. Here I'm going to select that we completed 8 deals. So we can now see with this data entered that in the first column we can see the total eligible sales delivered in the month. This is the figure we've just entered of 8. This should match the second column, which records the total number of sales in the tracker. If this isn't accurate for any reason, this will require further investigation and require you put notes detailing the reason for this discrepancy in the correct area below. Now, in our working example, despite the fact that our eligible sales and total completed sales show us the correct number, we have created a number of other anomalies to show you how these can be investigated. The first of these is the column labelled Total Unset Sales, where you can see we have the figure of 2. An unset sale is the system's label given to any incomplete records within the tracker, and these will need you to investigate. The usual reason for an unset is that the customer may have potentially cancelled the deal, they might be a duplicated customer record and need to be deleted, or it may be relating to a deal that's not yet complete and their new car has yet to be delivered, in which case you're going to need to move this information to the following month on the system. So let's now show you how to make these changes on the system. We'll select the highlighted 2 in the unset column and it will take us through to the customer page. We can see that we have 2 customer records now at the bottom of the screen, and these 2 records are our 2 unset sales. So for our first customer record, James Broomhead, we're going to imagine that this is a customer's record that's been duplicated on the system, and therefore you'd simply need to delete this using the icon at the top of the screen. And once you've selected delete, you'll simply be asked the reason why. With duplicate selected here, we're going to select OK. For our second unset example, we're going to show you what to do if the customer has yet to take delivery of their car. So for this customer record at B Downton, you would simply move to the bottom left of the screen, and from May, the month we're auditing, we're going to suggest that this vehicle will now not be delivered until June. Once you've selected the new date, you simply select the update icon, and with this selected, the system will remove your second unset. With both unsets now remedied, you'll see that our customer screen is blank, and by selecting back in the top right hand corner of our screen, we'll be taken back to the compliance report. Although we've shown you a couple of examples which are typical reasons why a customer record would be shown as unset, remember that each unset requires full investigation before making any changes on the system. We should not be making assumptions and only make changes that accurately reflect the customer's situation or circumstance. As well as our unset customers in this example, you can also see we have some unprinted and unsigned insurance and finance packs. Again, to investigate these fully, simply click on the highlighted number and it will take you back through to the customer screen. 2 of our 3 unprinted packs will be the 2 unsets that we've just remedied, but it does leave us with one further customer record, here for a Paul Allen. With the screen showing you the customer's detail and also the salesperson who's been serving them, it gives you enough information to begin this investigation. Again, typically the reasons will be much in the unsets, that it might be that the deal has been cancelled or the deal is now being carried over to the following month. However, if the system is correct and the customer has taken delivery of their vehicle that month, but is yet to receive their printed packs or to sign any declarations, then urgent remedial action is required. You'll need to ask the customer to visit the dealership immediately and have all packs signed. Failure to get signed packs for any vehicle delivered in a month would mean a failure when we are audited by the FCA, and this would be a serious breach of our policy. In this example though, let's suggest that much like one of our unsets, we have a customer who is simply due to be collecting their vehicle in a subsequent month. Again, just as we showed you before, all that this would require is that you change the date to the appropriate month and then select Update. With this now updated and the customer screen blank, we can now click back once again to go back to the compliance report. So with all of these customer records remedied, we can now go back to the Load Data option and again enter the number of deals that have fallen within our audited month. You can now see in our second row on our grid at the top of the screen that there are no more discrepancies that require our investigation. However, if there were, it would be important to record the details and reasons for these in the spaces below. The first of these is a notes section. In the notes section, you can provide any general information relating to the figures shown above. However, in the sections below, you'll see you're asked very specific questions and required to select an answer from a drop-down box. If for any reason the answer to any of these questions is not as the system anticipates, you'll be required to provide further detail. However, once you've worked through all of these questions, you will only be left with one further request from the system, which is to confirm that you've reconciled the general insurance products sold on the tracker with the amount recorded at our supplier. With this detail captured, you simply select Yes from the drop-down box. You can then select Save, which will then allow you to continue. So in relation to the compliance report, remember any unset sales or printing or pack discrepancies require your investigation. You need to accurately amend each customer record reflecting the reason for the discrepancy before you continue, and in the event you still have a discrepancy, you must record this in the appropriate section on the lower part of the page. So now let's show you the next stage of the audit, which involves you going to the base of the compliance report screen and selecting the RP, D and N icon. RP, D and M simply stands for Recommendations, Penetration and Demands and Needs. And on this page there are a variety of reports where you'll be able to review exactly how your team are performing in relation to these measures. This page is designed to demonstrate you've reviewed and analysed relevant data around general insurance and finance performance. Simply select the icon of the report you wish to view, and once that report has been viewed, you'll see that a date and timestamp will be added to the page. You'll be required to analyse each report, and once you've done so, it may be that you identify inconsistencies or best practice actions that need to be taken. If this is the case, simply change the drop-down box to say yes, and then fill in any notes relating to the type of actions that you're going to be taking in the month ahead. Although we won't be looking at the contents of these reports during this user guide, it's worth noting a separate guide is available from the homepage. Simply select Documents and then Document Library, and within the library you'll find a file entitled A Manager's Guide to Using FCA Reports. This contains all the information you need to decipher all the various reporting options available through the system. And back to our audit now, and it's time to move into our next section where we'll complete the AP or Approved Person report. This section of the audit simply requires you to answer a series of questions about your dealership. The answers you provide must be honest and accurate to the best of your knowledge. You will see that on the left-hand side of the screen there are a variety of situations or occurrences, and what you must record is whether these have not occurred, whether these have occurred and have been reported, or whether these have occurred and not been reported as of yet. Typically, for most dealerships, the majority of these will simply have not occurred during any given month. However, if any occurrences have happened, please record details of these in the note box at the base of the screen. Now, to complete the audit, we must move on to the summary section. On this final summary page, the first question you'll see is whether any additional actions are required as a result of the audit. You simply select yes or no from the drop-down. If you select yes, you'll notice a range of other options become available, such as space to record details of the required action, the follow-up date, and if there are any issues that require the insurance compliance manager to be notified. With this final page now complete, you're ready to click Save and complete your audit. If any areas of the audit are outstanding, a message will appear on the screen telling you which areas require further attention. Otherwise, you'll just be asked to check the box to agree to the following declaration before finalising and closing. Your General Manager and Franchise Director will be able to see that you've completed their audit via the Marshall FCA dashboard system, and all that remains is that you print a copy of the audit report for your records. So let's now summarise the key points. Remember, the month-end audit must be completed no later than the 14th of the following month. We advise you start the process earlier as you've seen, investigation and remedial action can be required, and the reporting that forms part of the audit process must be reviewed. Remember, these reports show performance in relation to product recommendations as well as demands and needs across both insurance and finance. Use the system and the various note spaces to record any anomalies or any actions that you've identified as part of the audit process. Thank you for taking the time to watch this Marshall e-learning module relating to the month-end return activity audit on the FCA dashboard.